Welcome, Seeker. There's a code embedded in the fabric of reality, a hidden language spoken not in words, but in forms. Spirals, hexagons, fractals, these are not mere patterns. They are echoes of something deeper, something eternal. Why is it that snowflakes, pine cones, seashells, galaxies, and even your very DNA all follow the same mysterious proportions? Why did ancient civilizations, who never met, never traded, never spoke the same language, all build sacred temples according to the same geometric laws? And why does staring into a mandala sometimes feel like looking into the eye of God? This is not coincidence. This is sacred geometry. But sacred geometry is not just about beautiful shapes and pleasing proportions. It is a key, a cipher to the divine blueprint behind all existence, a map that reveals how consciousness weaves itself into matter and how the universe mirrors the mind. The ancients understood this. In Egypt, the flower of life was etched onto temple walls. In India, yantras guided meditative focus and spiritual ascent. In Greece, Pythagoras whispered of numbers that formed the soul of the cosmos. And in the great cathedrals of Europe, Masons encoded sacred ratios into stone, believing that perfect form could channel divine presence. But over time, this knowledge was buried, hidden beneath dogma, dismissed as superstition, or locked away in the vaults of mystery schools. Today, we are beginning to remember. In this video, we will unveil the hidden truth about sacred geometry, its mystical origins, its philosophical depth, and most importantly, its practical power to awaken a higher perception of reality. We'll journey from ancient temples to quantum fields, exploring how sacred forms shape not only the world around us, but the very thoughts and emotions within us. What you're about to see is not just theory. It is a rediscovery of an ancient way of seeing, a way of knowing that reveals everything is connected, everything has form, and form is divine. Long before modern science mapped the atom, long before telescopes peered into the heart of galaxies, ancient mystics saw the universe not as chaos, but as sacred order, an order written in the language of geometry. To them, geometry was not invented, it was discovered, like an archaeologist brushing away the dust to reveal something eternal, a hidden architecture beneath all things. The Egyptians called it Mat, the divine principle of harmony, balance, and proportion. Their temples and pyramids weren't just architectural marvels. They were harmonically tuned instruments, aligned with celestial bodies, and encoded with sacred ratios like the golden mean. They believed that by aligning structures with these cosmic patterns, they could harmonize with the gods themselves. In ancient India, the Vedic sages channeled similar truths through yantras, geometric diagrams used not merely for decoration, but as portals into altered states of consciousness. Each shape, each angle, was a symbol of universal forces. The Sri Yantra, for example, represents the unfolding of the cosmos, the union of Shiva and Shakti, and the path to enlightenment. Then there were the Greeks. Pythagoras, a name often reduced to high school math, was in truth a mystic and initiated into ancient Egyptian wisdom. He believed that numbers and geometry were the true substance of reality, a rhythmus as divine essence. He taught that the harmony of music, the orbits of planets, and the structure of the human soul were all governed by the same hidden laws. His most famous symbol, the tetractys, was a triangle made of 10 points, a representation of the sacred decad. Each level symbolized an unfolding principle, unity, duality, trinity, and so on. It was said to be a gateway to understanding the divine order creation. The Platonic solids, 5 perfectly symmetrical shapes, were held by Plato to be the building blocks of the universe. Fire, earth, air, water, and ether all mapped to geometry. To contemplate them was to align one's mind with the very elements of existence. And yet, over time, this knowledge became fragmented. The rise of materialism, the fall of mystery schools, and the dominance of purely analytical science obscured the spiritual dimension of geometry. It was reduced to utility, stripped of its soul. But the geometry itself never vanished. It endured in the spiral of a nautilus shell, in the hexagonal precision of a beehive, in the fractal branching of trees and rivers. The code remained intact, waiting to be seen again. Even in our modern era, those attuned to this ancient language continued the work. Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man echoed the belief that the human body itself is a reflection of sacred ratios. Buckminster Fuller saw in geodesic domes the return of universal structure. And in the digital age, fractal geometry, once a fringe curiosity, now shapes everything from computer graphics to neurological models of consciousness. Sacred geometry was never meant to be locked in temples or hidden in dusty manuscripts. It is everywhere, carved into the bones of the earth and the breath of the stars. To understand it is not merely to grasp math or art. It is to see, as the ancients saw, that the universe is not a machine, but a living temple. And you, yes, you, are built by the same code. So what is sacred geometry really? It is the blueprint behind all form, the invisible matrix from which reality crystallizes, a language that doesn't speak in words, but in spirals, ratios, and resonance. At its heart lies a truth so ancient, so profound, it echoes through every tradition. Form is consciousness made visible. Let's begin with the simplest and most mysterious of all symbols, the circle. The circle is the womb of creation. It has no beginning and no end. It is wholeness, eternity, the divine feminine. Every sacred structure begins here. And when we draw a second circle, intersecting the first at its center, we birth what is known as a vesica piscis, the womb of life from which all geometric forms emerge. In this almond-shaped portal lies the geometry of the eye, the seed, the yoni, the fish, and the mandala seen in Christian icons. It is a place where duality meets unity, where the one becomes two, yet remains one. From here unfolds a flower of life, a symbol found across the world, etched into temple walls in Egypt, China, and even medieval synagogues. It's a web of interlocking circles forming a perfect lattice of creation. Within it, every Platonic solid is hidden, every mathematical truth, every proportion found in nature and art. But these aren't just aesthetic patterns. They are functional frequencies. You see, each geometric form vibrates at a specific resonance. When you meditate on them, or even place them in your environment, they interact with your consciousness. They tune your awareness to higher frequencies, much like a tuning fork bringing a string into harmony. Let's take the golden ratio, also known as phi, 1.618. This isn't just a number. It's a cosmic constant embedded in the growth of seashells, sunflowers, galaxies, and even your DNA. Artists and architects from Da Vinci to the builders of the Parthenon use it instinctively to evoke beauty and harmony. Why? Because this ratio feels right to the human soul. It is the signature of organic life. Now consider the Fibonacci sequence, where each number is the sum of the two preceding it. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Spiral this outwards, and you get the exact curve seen in hurricanes, pine cones, and the swirl of the Milky Way. This is not coincidence. It is a sacred fingerprint, showing us that life itself unfolds through geometric law. The ancients weren't merely observing nature. They were communing with it, mirroring these principles in their temples, mandalas, and initiation chambers. But why? Because they understood something we've almost forgotten. Geometry is the architecture of the soul. When your mind contemplates a perfect geometric form, it begins to attune to its order. The noise of the world fades. Thought slows. Awareness expands. This is not superstition. It's resonance, a shift in frequency, a realignment of inner and outer worlds. It's why a cathedral can stir something holy within you, why a mandala can quiet the storm of your thoughts, why a spiral staircase can feel like a path to the divine. These structures are not random. They are keys, opening doors to altered states of perception and expanded consciousness. And here's the paradox. The deeper you go into geometry, the more spiritual it becomes. It's no longer just about lines and angles. It becomes a mirror, showing you what's been inside you all along. That same flower of life, it's mapped in the development of the human embryo. The same ratios seen in galaxies are coded in your face. As above, so below. As within, so without. And the deeper question arises, if geometry is embedded in every living thing, then who or what designed the blueprint? Could it be that creation itself is conscious? That the cosmos is not a random accident, but a carefully tuned symphony of intelligence, form, and spirit? We'll explore that mystery next. If this journey through hidden wisdom resonates with you, remember to subscribe and leave a comment below. Your thoughts help us weave this sacred web of seekers and truth seekers alike. So, is the universe itself alive? If sacred geometry is the underlying structure, what mind laid its foundation? Across the ancient world, the answer was clear. Creation is not dead matter, but a living intelligence. To the Egyptians, sacred geometry was a language of the Neteru, cosmic principles that gave form to the universe. In the temples of Luxor, proportions weren't just mathematical, they were mythological. Each hall, each pillar, each chamber was tuned to celestial harmonies, mimicking the anatomy of the human body. The temple was the body of God. To walk through it was to re-enter the divine. In the Vedic tradition, sacred geometry manifested through yantras, diagrams used to invoke specific deities. The most famous is the Sri Yantra, a geometric field of interlocking triangles representing the union of masculine and feminine, form and void, Shiva and Shakti. Meditating on it is said to activate higher states of consciousness because its proportions resonate with the inner architecture of the mind itself. And in the West, the Pythagorean taught that all is number, but not cold, lifeless math. They believed numbers had souls, and that the divine spoke through harmonic ratios. To them, geometry was sacred music. In the universe, a living instrument echoing the music of the spheres. But here's what makes this even more extraordinary. These cultures were separated by oceans and millennia, and yet their sacred sites obey the same ratios, the same patterns, the same cosmic blueprints. Is that just coincidence? Or were they tapping into a universal truth? Consider this. The Great Pyramid of Giza encodes a golden ratio, pi, and the speed of light. Its height relative to its base mirrors the dimensions of Earth itself. How could ancient architects possibly know this? Then look to Chartres Cathedral in France. Hidden within its Gothic spires and rose windows are precise, sacred geometries, used to create an acoustic chamber that uplifts the soul. Walk its labyrinth, and you walk the symbolic path to inner illumination. And even today, modern science is catching up. Physicists like Nassim Haramein suggest that geometry isn't a human invention. It's the very scaffolding of space-time, that black holes, atoms, and even consciousness itself may be organized by geometric resonance. At the quantum level, particles swirl in probabilistic spirals. At the cosmic level, galaxies echo the same spirals. And in the mind, thought itself takes shape in fractal patterns. So, let us ask the deeper question again. If geometry is the signature of design, then what is its purpose? The mystics offer a daring answer. Geometry is a path by which spirit descends into matter and ascends back again. It is the ladder of Jacob, the temple of Solomon, the spine of the awakened Kundalini. Each form is a symbol and a function. A hexagram isn't just a Star of David. It's a union of opposites, the merging of heaven and earth. The cube isn't just a solid. It's a containment of spirit and flesh. The spiral isn't just movement. It's evolution unfolding in time. And so we begin to see geometry is not flat. It is multidimensional. It holds stories, codes, transformations. It is the architect of dreams, the scaffold of reality, the bridge between soul and source. And this, perhaps, is why it's been hidden, not by accident, but by design. Because the moment you truly see sacred geometry, not as art, but as awareness, something within you begins to reconfigure. You see your life not as chaos, but as a pattern unfolding. You feel your struggles not as curses, but as initiations along a spiral path. You recognize that everything is connected, and that you are not just part of the design. You are the design becoming conscious of itself. Have you ever felt a place, a shape, or a pattern awaken something ancient within you? Share your experience in the comments. And if this journey is unlocking truths for you, don't forget to subscribe. We are just getting started. It's one thing to understand sacred geometry intellectually, but true power begins when you embody it. Because sacred geometry isn't just etched in temples or encoded in ancient texts. It's alive within you. Let's begin with the most basic and yet profound form, the circle. Draw one now. Slowly. Feel the motion of your hand as it curves around itself, returning to its origin. This is wholeness. No beginning, no end. To meditate on the circle is to remember that you are not broken. You are complete. Next, visualize a triangle pointing upward. This is a symbol of fire, of aspiration, of rising energy. Now invert it. Point it downward. This is water, receptivity, descent. Overlay them, and you create the hexagram, a perfect fusion of opposites. Try this. Sit in silence and breathe gently. With each inhale, visualize the upward triangle, your energy rising. With each exhale, the downward triangle, your awareness grounding. After a few minutes, you may begin to feel something centering, a balance, a power. Another sacred form, the flower of life, can be used as a meditative gateway. Simply gaze at it. Let your eyes relax. You may begin to see it move, spiraling, breathing. This isn't imagination, it's resonance. Your brain waves are syncing with a deeper harmonic. You are remembering the code. Many ancient cultures used geometric visualization as a form of initiation. Tibetan monks meditate on mandalas, not as art, but as portals, by tracing the layers of the pattern. The mind learns to navigate the hidden architecture of consciousness itself. And this is the key. You don't need to build a pyramid or master complex math to access the power of sacred geometry. You only need to observe it with reverence. Here are some ways to bring it into your daily life. 1. Create a sacred space. Place sacred geometric symbols in your environment. A seed of life on your altar, a Sri Yantra above your desk, a Vesica Piscis near where you meditate. These forms subtly shift the energetic resonance of your space. 2. Body alignment practices. When practicing yoga, qigong, or even just standing still, imagine aligning your posture with geometric precision. Spine like a vertical axis, shoulders squared, breath flowing in spiral motion. This grounds awareness and opens energy channels. 3. Journaling with shapes. Before writing or reflecting, draw a geometric shape. Let it guide the theme of your journaling. A square for structure, a circle for unity, a spiral for transformation. Let your thoughts unfold like petals in a mandala. 4. Geometric breath work. Practice pattern breathing that mimics sacred forms. For example, box breathing. Inhale 4 counts. Hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4. A perfect square. This calms the nervous system and stabilizes the mind. But most importantly, begin to see the geometry in all things. The symmetry of a leaf, the spiral of your fingerprint, the hexagons in a beehive, the fractal patterns in your dreams. Each is a doorway, a reminder that the same intelligence shaping the stars is shaping you. You don't need to believe in sacred geometry. You are sacred geometry. Your breath is a wave. Your heartbeat, a rhythm. Your soul, a point in infinite space, spiraling home. Have you tried using sacred symbols in your practice? Have you noticed how certain shapes affect your energy? Share your experiences in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to explore more tools of transformation on your path. So now, we return to the beginning. The circle completes itself. What began as lines and shapes, triangles, spirals, hexagons, has been revealed as something far more than geometry. It is the language of the divine, written in the bones of the universe and etched in the very structure of your soul. The ancients knew this, not because they were primitive mystics, but because they listened. They watched the stars. They studied the growth of flowers, the flight of birds, the swirling dance of galaxies, and they saw order, not control, not rigidity, but intelligent pattern. Today, in a world of constant distraction, sacred geometry invites us to return to that still point, to rediscover the lost harmony between self and cosmos. It asks us not to escape the world, but to see it as it truly is. Every shape has a vibration. Every pattern holds a key. And once you begin to notice them, you cannot unsee them. The triangle isn't just a shape. It's willpower, vision, ascent. The spiral isn't just movement. It's evolution, rebirth, awakening. And the flower of life? It is nothing less than a mirror showing you who you really are. This is the hidden truth. Not hidden because someone is hiding it, but because we forgot how to look. Sacred geometry does not demand belief. It only asks for attention. So as you leave this video and return to your day, I invite you to pause. Look closely at the veins of a leaf, the ripples in a puddle, the symmetry of your own face. Ask yourself, what does this shape try to tell me? And more importantly, what part of me already knows the answer? Because the mystery was never outside of you. It's been there all along, carved in the silence between your breaths, whispering through the lines of light that form your world. All you have to do is remember, if this resonated with you, Subscribe and step deeper into the mysteries with us. And share in the comments, what's one symbol that has always drawn you in? You might be surprised by what it reveals.